Yo, listen up, because this story is going to hit you right in the feel sits about how life in the hood can throw you curveballs you never see coming, but sometimes those twists lead to something real. Picture this. It's Harlem, New York, back in the grind of 2023, where the streets are alive with that mix of hustle and heart, but for Malik Thompson, a 25-year-old brother just trying to keep his head above water, it felt more like drowning every damn day. Malik's mom, Miss Gloria, was battling late-stage diabetes, the kind that had her in and out of the hospital, meds costing more than his rent. His little sister, Keisha, 18, and sharp as a tack, dreamed of being the first in the family to hit college for nursing, but bills were stacking up like unpaid parking tickets. Their dad? Gone too soon in a messed up police stop 3 years back, leaving Malik as the man of the house. He was pulling doubles mornings at a bodega slinging coffee, nights driving for Uber Eats through traffic that never quits, barely scraping by, his eyes bloodshot from no sleep, hands calloused from gripping the wheel. I mean, debt collectors blowing up his phone at all hours, eviction notices taped to the door. It was like the whole system was rigged against him, whispering, "You ain't never gonna make it, my kid." But Malik, he kept it together, no complaints, just that quiet fire in his gut thinking, I gotta hold it down for them no matter what. One rainy afternoon, he's in this old school diner on 125th Street, the kind with vinyl booths and soul food specials, counting out quarters for a cup of black coffee to stay awake. That's when she shows up, Evelyn Harper, this 68-year-old queen of real estate, black woman who built an empire flipping brownstones and owning half the block. She's decked out in a sharp pantsuit, pearls gleaming, eyes locking on him like she's reading his whole life story. "You Malik Thompson?" she asks, voice smooth but firm like she already knows the answer. He nods, confused as hell. "I know your struggle, son. The weight on your shoulders, mom's health, sister's future. What if I told you I could wipe it all clean?" Malik's heart skips. He's thinking, who is this lady and what's the catch? She slides into the booth, no nonsense. "Marry me. It's a business deal. I clear your debts, get your mom the best docs in the city, fund Keisha through school. You get freedom, your own space, no strings on that front." He's staring at her. Mind racing, Evelyn's got that glow of someone who's seen it all. But her age, her wealth, it screams mismatch. "Why me? This sounds crazy," he mutters. She leans in, eyes flickering with something deep, maybe pain. "Because life's left me with everything except someone to trust. Think on it." He leaves shook, her words echoing as he watches his mom wince in pain that night, Keisha studying under a dim lamp. Days later, with no other way out, he shows up at her brownstone, that massive spot with marble steps and gated entry. "I accept," he says, voice steady but inside twisting. They do the paperwork quick, a low-key civil thing, no fuss. But stepping into her world, it was luxury overload chandeliers, art from black artists on the walls, but Malik felt this chill, like eyes watching him. Evelyn's staff bowed to her like royalty, her distant cousins eyeing him sideways, whispering about the young hustler. And there was this locked study upstairs, door heavy as a vault, no one talking about it. Malik's family starts thriving moms in treatment. Keisha's enrolled, but he's lying awake wondering, what did she mean by trust? And why does she look at me like she knows my pops? Little did he know, that gaze held a secret tied to his dad's old betrayals, a bomb waiting to drop. Man, if you thought the setup was wild, wait till you see how Malik navigated that gilded cage. It's the kind of quiet grind that builds legends in our communities, where you push through without letting them see you sweat. Settling into Evelyn's brownstone felt like stepping into another dimension. Rooms filled with mahogany furniture, a kitchen bigger than his old apartment, and views of Harlem's skyline that screamed success. But Evelyn kept him at a distance. Dinners together were polite. Her asking about his day with that regal vibe, but never getting too close, like she was testing him. Her circle, straight up shady. Cousins at family gatherings smirking, calling him Evelyn's little project behind his back, assuming he was just there for the bag. Malik swallowed it all, thinking, they don't know my story growing up in the projects. dodging traps, building smarts from the streets. He threw himself into helping out, using his hustle to manage her properties, fixing tenant disputes with that smooth talk honed from bodega negotiations, spotting shady deals before they blew up. Evelyn noticed, quietly promoting him to oversee a block of rentals, where he turned around evictions into community wins like organizing block parties to build trust stuff rooted in Black Harlem traditions. You know, that village mentality. Meanwhile, his fam was blooming. Mom's diabetes in remission thanks to top specialists. Evelyn flew in. Keisha acing classes with new gear. Texting him, "Bro, this is life-changing." But the locked study haunted him, whispers seeping out at night, like old jazz records playing faintly. He built a bond with Lena, this 20-year-old aide, a sister from the Bronx who'd been with Evelyn forever, orphaned young and taken in. She'd slip him tea late night saying, "You handling this better than most, Malik. Keep your head up." One evening, in the garden, Evelyn's hidden oasis with roses nodding like ancestors approving, he caught Lena staring at an old photo Evelyn dropped, showing a younger her with a man who looked just like Malik's dad. "What's the deal with that room?" he whispered. Lena hesitated, eyes darting. "It's her pain vault, stuff from back in the day. Don't push too hard, Fat." But Malik couldn't let it go. He started piecing Clouseau letters he glimpsed in the trash mentioning betrayal and Samuel Thompson, his pop's name. Anger simmered, but he channeled it, volunteering at a local youth center on weekends, mentoring kids like he wished someone had for him, drawing from Black resilience stories his grandma told about the Harlem Renaissance. "I ain't breaking," he'd tell himself in the mirror, fists clenched. Evelyn's subtle digs like, "You're smarter than your father ever was," stung, but he stayed cool, suspecting her game. Little twists kept coming, Lena secretly passing him a key duplicate one night, whispering, "She trusts you more than she lets on use it wisely." It was that underground support network, like how we look out in the community, that fueled his suspicion into action, all while he proved his worth without a word, building toward the storm. All right. Now we're getting to the part where everything flips upside down. It's that moment you live for in these stories, where the truth hits like a freight train and leaves folks speechless. One stormy night, thunder rumbling over Harlem like the ancestors stirring. Malik couldn't take the whispers from that locked study anymore. It was like ghosts calling his name. Heart pounding, he crept upstairs, the brownstone creaking under his steps, and confronted Evelyn in her sitting room where she sat with a glass of bourbon, looking more vulnerable than ever. "What's really going on here?" he demanded, voice low but firm. "Why me? And don't give me that business deal BS. She sighed, eyes misting, and pulled out an old Polaroid from her robe pocket. There was his dad, young and cocky, arm around a beaming Evelyn from the 80s, afros popping, smiles wide. "This is Samuel, your father," she said, voice cracking for the first time. Malik's world spun. He grabbed the photo, breath shallow. "He was my everything back then. I helped him out of the streets, funded his dreams, thought it was love, but when I proposed, he laughed in my face, called me a wealthy fool playing savior, said I was just a distraction before he married your mom." The betrayal burned in her words. Malik saw the pain she'd buried, how his dad's cruelty shattered her, turning her empire into a shield. Marrying you? It started as payback, make his son feel trapped, powerless, like he made me. But you're nothing like him. Your kindness, the way you handle my business like it's your own, it broke me down. I fell for you, Malik. For real. He stepped back, fury rising like bile. "This is sick. You used me as a pawn in your old grudge?" They argued fierce, voices echoing him, calling out her manipulation, her defending it as survival after heartbreak. Tears streamed down her face. She wasn't the cold queen anymore, just a woman scarred by rejection in a world that undervalues black love. In the heat, she handed him the study key. "See for yourself." Inside, under dim light, stacks of letters, unanswered pleas from Evelyn to his dad, begging for closure, and legal docs showing she'd quietly donated to causes his dad once mocked. Malik's anger cracked into pity. Dad was the real villain, he realized, flipping the script. Evelyn collapsed, sobbing. I didn't expect to love again. It was raw, that vulnerability from a powerhouse, rooted in our community's hidden traumas, like how redlining and lost loves echo through generations. Malik stormed out, key in hand, but deep down, a seed of understanding planted, setting up the heal. Whew, after that bombshell, things didn't just simmer, they transformed, showing how one truth can rewrite everything, especially in our circles where healing ain't linear but hits deep. Weeks later, Evelyn's health tank doctor said heart issues, years of buried stress catching up, the kind that plagues strong black women who carry too much. Malik sat by her bedside in that fancy hospital room, reading from her old Bible, feeling this weird mix of resentment and care. You gave me a second chance, she whispered, gripping his hand weakly. Forgiven, old fool? He nodded, tears hot. We both got played by the past. She passed peaceful, but not before rewriting her will everything to Malik. The brownstone, properties, even a fund for community uplift. Word spread through Harlem like wildfire. Those cousins who'd sneered, suddenly knocking, hats in hand, mumbling apologies like, we misjudged you, nephew. One even broke down, admitting jealousy over Evelyn's favoritism, vowing to step up for family events. Malik? He didn't gloat, just redefined it all. Turned the brownstone into a hub for black entrepreneurs, hosting workshops on real estate flips, drawing from Evelyn's legacy but infusing his street wisdom. Lena stepped up big. She'd been his rock, sharing stories of her own foster kid struggles, and their talks turned intimate. You saw me when no one did, she said one evening in the garden, now blooming with community-planted herbs, a nod to urban farming roots in black NYC. He distanced from the toxic vibes, focusing on positives. Mom thriving, hosting church potlucks. Keisha interning at a clinic, inspired by Evelyn's grit. The community shifted too. Folks who'd pitied Malik now celebrated him at block parties, sparking talks on intergenerational wounds, like how dad's mistakes ripple but sons can break cycles. It was satisfying, that quiet justice, not revenge but growth, making the hood stronger. And just like that, years roll by, but the echoes, they linger, teaching us that real power comes from rising above the mess. Fast forward to now. Malik's 30, married to Lena in a simple backyard ceremony, none of that flashy stuff, just soul food, jazz, and family vibes. Their kid, little Sam, named to reclaim the past, runs around the renamed Harper Thompson Forgiveness Hub. Where that old study? Now a library stocked with books on black history, journals open for folks to share stories. Malik mentors young brothers weekly saying, prejudice tries to box you, but your heart unlocks the legacy, forgive to free yourself. It's profound how pain turned to purpose, inspiring the next gen to challenge biases head on. Remember, life's roads are twisted, but resilience, that's our superpower. In the heart of Malik's journey, we uncover a timeless truth. Life's deepest wounds often stem from unspoken prejudices and inherited pain, but it's through forgiveness and inner strength that we reclaim our worth. This story reminds us that what goes around comes around not as vengeance, but as a gentle nudge toward healing. Evelyn's calculated marriage, born from a decades-old betrayal, could have trapped Malik in a cycle of resentment, yet his quiet resilience turned manipulation into mutual understanding. For many of us in our later years, reflecting on past hurts, whether from family secrets, societal biases, or lost loves, it's easy to build walls. But Malik shows that true gold doesn't fear the fire. By facing the locked doors of our own histories, we can transform golden cages into spaces of freedom. In everyday life, this means recognizing toxic relationships that echo old discriminations, whether in our communities or families, and choosing to break the silence with kindness rather than anger. It's about valuing ourselves beyond labels of age, wealth, or background, embracing diversity as the fabric of our shared humanity, and understanding that justice often arrives not through confrontation, but through empathy. As we age, Let's pause and self-reflect. Have we let past injustices define us, or can we rewrite our legacies with grace? This tale urges us to seek equity in our interactions, honoring the underdog spirit that has carried Black families through generations of adversity. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment below sharing your thoughts on forgiveness or a similar experience from your life it might inspire someone else. Hit that like button if it moved you, and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss more real-life tales of triumph and reflection. Here's to finding peace amid the chaos, and hope lighting your path forwards. Stay strong, friends.